Welcome to the Better Off Bonus Call of the Week. We're sponsored by Betterment, the largest independent online financial advisor. Remember, you got 2 chances every week to get on the air. Well, I shouldn't say every week, most weeks to get on the air. Because sometimes I blather on, blather. Mark's making the big talk sign on Thursdays with a guest. But if I keep that interview nice and tight, then we are able to give you some time to ask a question. And then here on Tuesdays, we do the Better Off Bonus Call of the Week. If you'd like to get on the show with us, all you have to do is send us an email. Ask Jill at betteroffpodcast.com. Ask Jill at betteroffpodcast.com. That's what Devin did. He is calling from Pittsburgh. Welcome to the program. What can I do for you, Devin?
I just have a quick question for you. I think it's fairly basic, but some of your takes on debt and paying down debt are interesting to me. So I wanted to ask you this quick question. Basically, I have a car note, and it's a nice low. I think it's 1.9% per year.
Yeah.
And I owe about let's call it 14 on the car.
Okay.
And I have a kind of a cash savings bucket, and there's about let's call it $28K in there. And I'm really, really tempted to pay off the car with that cash.
Because you hate that. You hate it. You hate it. You hate the car.
I just want to get rid of it because that's the only debt that I have right now.
Okay. Well, that's great.
And I just want to be debt-free, and it's really just a psychological thing. But what I would do with that $400 a month payment that I pay towards the car is probably put it into an IRA, which then would get me some tax benefits there.
Okay.
But then it would also obviously take a nice chunk, pretty much half of my cash savings right now, which I want to use to potentially buy a house, maybe buy. It's not quite an emergency fund, but it's more of an investment fund.
Do you have a separate emergency reserve fund?
I do not. I would say, in my mind, 5 or 10 of that is emergency.
Mm-hmm. How much do you earn, Devin?
It's called about $100 a year.
Okay. Are you putting money into a employer-based retirement plan right now?
I am, yeah.
How much?
I think I put in, if I'm remembering correctly, it's about 15% of my of my pay.
401k straight up?
No, you know what? I think it's more like 12-13% into the IRA where I get the tax benefit now. Let's call it. So I put in the max to a Roth.
Okay.
$500 a year, whatever percentage that is, 5%.
Yeah.
And then 4 or 5% into another tax advantage HSA.
Okay.
So all in all,
so that's good.
That I'm saving.
That's awesome. That's great. Okay. So here's the thing. You make $100,000. You've got this car payment. Where do you live? You got a rental or are you living at home?
We rent a house. It's about $1,200 a month.
Oh, cheap. When you say we, is there a we, Kimosabi? Is there a partner?
My fiance and I.
Okay. And fiance, how about the earning potential over there? How much does the fiance make?
She is a school teacher, so I don't know, maybe half what I make.
Yeah, but steady, man, steady.
Yeah, not bad.
But you make good money together. That's the good news.
Yeah.
If you are looking at a home to buy, I mean, first you're going to get married probably. How much do you think you'd need to spend on a home that you'd want to live in for a while?
It's a great question. I'm not a big fan of starter homes. Mm-hmm. And so all in all, I'd say about $300 would probably be the final price of a home that we would buy.
Okay, great. The cash that is sitting in that account, that $28,000, any idea about how much it's earning?
Yeah, it's in an Ally account, so it's at this point maybe like 1.7, 1.8.
Okay. So it's kind of a push between the cash and the car in terms of rate. The car rate is a tiny bit higher than the cash account. In other words, if you were like, oh, I'm making 0.25% and my car loan's 4.9%, that's an easy decision to make, right?
Yeah.
Not as easy right now. How many years left on the car loan?
About 2.5 out of 5.
Okay. You're going to hate me. Keep the dumb car loan. Just keep it. Don't worry. You're going to, because you know what? You'll pay it off. It's cheap money. You'll pay it off. At the point when you have that $400 a month, then you're going to start jamming more cash into that account so that you can accumulate the money you need for your home down payment. And, I presume that it's probably the timing's about right, because when are you getting married?
November.
Okay. Look, the $1,200 a month rent is such a good number that unless you hate the place, it's nice to stay there and just pop a lot of money in. You're putting money into your retirement, which is great. You are putting about 20% away, which is a fantastic savings goal. How old are you?
33.
I mean, you're young. So I would say you're doing exactly what you should be doing. If you end up making more than 100, if all of a sudden you're making 120 and you want to start saving more aggressively for the house, that's great. But I would keep the car loan because your liquidity is kind of the keys to the kingdom, that money that's sitting in cash. So if you found that you get married and then it's a year from now, and you say, oh, I actually found a house that I want for $300,000. We have we got some wedding money. There's $35,000 in cash. We're going to take that money, even though we're not putting 20% down. We'll put less than 20% down. We can get into a house we love, whatever. You run the numbers and it works. That's one thing. But if you've paid off the car loan, you don't even have the choice. You need that money because you've got stuff to do. So the good news is the car loan's cheap and it's gone in 2.5 years. Yeah.
So I barely drive it either.
If you're feeling like, oh, I really just want to buy a house. Like, calm down. There aren't that many houses for sale. I think inventory is going to start building in the housing market. So I think that patience is going to be a very necessary component to you going through this process. Get married, settle in, start, looking at how you guys want to manage your money together, go through that process, and then call me back and we'll talk about buying a house. How's that?
Yeah, I might hold you to that, Jill.
All right. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm good.
All right.
I'm all good.
I'll talk to you in 9 to 18 months. Then.
Excellent. We love our friends in Pittsburgh. Thank you so much for listening, and thanks for calling today, Devin.
Thank you.
Okay, that's a wrap of our Better Off bonus question of the week. If you've got a question, it's simple. Send us an email at askjill@betteroffpodcast.com. We'll arrange to get you on. And don't forget, in just a couple of days, there's a brand new episode of the Better Off Podcast sponsored by Betterment. Talk to you then.